Germany again swarming forward. Brewer's little touch inside, and that is a super.
Do you hear that?
Goal by Tiesprins. 3-0 it is.
Can you picture it?
Picks, rolls, finds the pass into the circle, little diagonal ball, Velen off the back foot. What a shot that
What do you see?
That's an absolute
What type of field is it?
Milchow with the pass.
Who is playing?
Velen with the shot. Lovely
Do you want to be there?
sliding ball, Velen off his right foot. Look at the poise and the balance.
Do you have a guess?
Watches the ball.
What if I told you it's one of the top 5 sports in the world?
That is brilliant.
Would you like to see more?
And that should be the match for France. What a fantastic.
This is the sport of field hockey. This is a sport that helped shift the general perspective about women in sport and what they are physically capable of. And yet, it is virtually unknown in the United States. But why? Field hockey's origins can be traced back thousands of years ago to Egypt, Persia, and Greece. The modern game developed in England in the mid-19th century, but the sport did not cross the Atlantic until 1901. At this time in the United States, women were finally getting the chance to participate in sports after years of sports being deemed too dangerous for women. Most of these sports were individual competitions such as running, tennis, and horseback riding. Team sports were seen as too mannish, but Englishwoman Constance Appleby was excited to introduce the sport to her classmates at Harvard University. She then quickly created the American Field Hockey Association and became the athletic director at the all-women's school of Bryn Mawr. The sport then spread to other female-only schools such as Vassar and Mount Holyoke. Because of the association of field hockey with all-female colleges, it was able to keep its aggressive elements, and it made for the first real team sport for women to be a part of that also had a very competitive manner. But this seclusion would also have its downfalls for the sport in the future. The locations of women's schools kept the sport to a specific region in the United States. In addition, the tie between women and field hockey brought in inferiority to the sport that discouraged men from participating. And finally, the lack of diversity in the sport due to it being part of mainly private institutions and having a high cost to participate decreased the number of people who could access the sport. But America has found some success on an international level with an invitation to the first Women's Olympic Games tournament in Moscow and a bronze medal in the 1984 Olympics. They have also earned a bronze medal in the World Cup, which occurred in 1994 in Dublin. On the men's side, they qualified for a few Olympic Games, but have had difficulties returning since 1996. As the game sees popularity across the world, the sport is virtually unknown in many parts of the country, and the general American has difficulty understanding the complexities of the sport.
Yeah, go LU! What about field hockey? Let's go Liberty field hockey!
My name is Jacob DeFonso. I'm a junior here at Liberty.
I'm Zach, I'm a freshman.
Hi, I'm Alyssa Marinopoulos. I'm a senior here at Liberty.
My name is Bradley DeFonso. I'm a junior.
I'm Caden, I'm also a freshman.
Hello, my name is Bella Smuda. I play on the Liberty women's basketball team, and I don't play field hockey, but I come to some of the games and I watch. I still don't really know what's going on, but it's super fun. Go Flames.
That was very weak. Watch this. You gotta.
I see them do that all the time, but it's like that.
Ready? Here we go.
Oh, frick, I hit it on the wrong side.
Let's see it.
You ready? I saw Jody Connolly do this in the last game.
Oh! I tipped it!
Hello.
I'm not built for this. I'm tired, bro. I have to bend so much. I need a taller stick.
My toe.
If you guys were given the opportunity to play, maybe when you were younger, would you have tried it or no?
Oh, I 100% would have tried it. I mean, I just don't know if there was a place where I was able to. So like you said, like I don't know if I would have even had an opportunity to, but it looks so much fun. I don't think I could possibly turn it down to at least try it.
If this was like, if you guys had this, would you guys ever consider playing it?
All right, I'm Corey Dykema. I'm a practice player for Liberty here, and I'm also on the junior national team for the U.S. So I didn't start playing until I was about 6 or 7, and I was kind of I wanted to play soccer and field hockey, but there was a certain point in my life, about 13 years old, where I had to choose either soccer or field hockey. But I had fallen in love with the sport, and I loved it too much to say goodbye to it, so I just stuck with field hockey. It's just the fact that all 3 of my sisters played with me, so that just kind of made it fun to be interactive and be with them in the sport kind of throughout my life and my childhood. We went over to a club team, and my club coach, Scotty, he was very nice, and he let me play in every tournament and every game, as long as the other coaches and players were okay with it. So that was a big way that I was able to play and kind of, not take big breaks in between. Yeah, so in my area, Virginia Beach area, there were very few guys that played with me. I think I remember I had maybe 2 guy teammates growing up. Other than that, it was really just me and then my sisters and everybody else on the team, obviously. So
as Corey was reaching the age to go into college, he decided he wanted to become a practice player at Liberty University in Lynchburg, Virginia. Part of that decision, again, was because of his close bond with his sisters.
A big factor is family for me. So having 3 older sisters playing here, obviously decided that I was going to be here and play here. I just love Lou field hockey. There's nothing like it. I've been with like I said, a lot of clubs and teams and stuff, but I can say there's not a team like Liberty, and there never will be, just because of the foundation and the roots that the players and the coaching staff have made here. It's just unbelievable. I've been very fortunate. The coaching staff has utilized me in as many ways as possible. Other than obviously playing in the games, because I can't do that. I've talked with some of my other, teammates and players that I know on the other teams that they'll do film that day and they'll just kind of record their practice, but they won't actually be involved in the practice. So I think that's one area that, Coach Nicky and Coach Allen and all of them, they've utilized me well. I wouldn't take it for granted, and I love every opportunity that I can get to help the team.
Because field hockey is an NCAA sport for women, there's a natural infrastructure that comes down from that underneath, because it's like, oh hey, there's all these opportunities, so clubs pop up to essentially fill that void of like, hey, we'll help train you and get you ready, right? Like if men's field hockey became an NCAA sport tomorrow morning, I'm sure the infrastructure would pop up pretty fast around it to help support it at those lower levels, and that would help bring more people into the sport. But that's the biggest difference, is that here it very much remains like a total outlier. I mean, we have like Corey Dykema on our team, he's a male practice player for us, but if he didn't have that opportunity here to go out and play and train every day, then sure, he's on the the US under-21 national team, but where does he even practice? Who does he practice with?
Only playing as a practice player does not give a male field hockey athlete a lot of very competitive opportunities, especially when having to sit on the sidelines during competitions in and out of season. Luckily, in Corey's situation, he has trained hard enough and has the skills and abilities to earn a spot on the USA Men's U21 national team.
But when I eventually got involved with the U.S. program, obviously that wasn't, day-to-day, week-to-week type thing, but it gave me an opportunity every, once a month or 2, or, as much as possible to get out and play with the men. So that was a big part of me playing the sport as much as I could. It's great to play with the guys, because they're kind of where I need to be competitive-wise. But that's one of the difficulties I've found is, going from women's to men's field hockey is just different. So sometimes I'll, be playing at Loof for a little bit, and then I'll go over to, the junior side of things, and, I kind of been playing not to my level there that I, usually play. One of the first things that Coach Nicky told me is she would rather me play, too hard and too aggressive, and they can tone it down rather than playing too soft. It can be hard doing that, but it's just something that I've had to learn to do over 3 years, and I feel like I've done a pretty good job at it. Ever since I was 13, I've been traveling to California and Charlotte, North Carolina to play with the junior team, and I've loved it. There haven't been as many opportunities, obviously because of COVID. That wrecked everybody. So we're kind of trying to rebuild the program right now, and it's looking really pretty good right now. We're just continuing to kind of work individually because a lot of us are international, and it's hard to get a group of 18, 19 guys together, especially even once a month. I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but it can be very tough. So I was at the Junior World Cup back in, I believe, 2021 or 2022, and that was, if any of you guys know the score, it was quite an experience to kind of see where we are, because that's the top 16 teams in the world for the junior side of things. But the first thing I noticed is we played India in a practice match, and they stomped on us, and it was cool to see. It wasn't fun to play against, but it was really cool to see just their chemistry. They're out there, they're all kind of in a central location, and they can play together every single day. So that's one thing that the U.S. program has always struggled with, and I think will struggle with for a long time until they try to figure things out.
With limited opportunities for men to play field hockey, it is a wonder how guys like Corey are even able to get into the sport competitively and thrive in it. If these male athletes didn't get the chance to get into their sport at a younger age, how would they have ever been introduced to the sport? This is where youth hockey programs like this one become necessary for the growth of field hockey as a whole.
My name's Kim Underwood. I am the high school field hockey coach at Wilson School District in Reading, Pennsylvania, and I also have been running the youth field hockey program for the last 15 years. In 9th grade, I was signed up to play tennis. And then at the last minute, all my friends decided to play field hockey, so I said, let's give it a try. And that's how I started playing. I just was really enjoying the team atmosphere of it, the toughness of the sport. I was just kind of drawn to the team trips we were taking with field hockey and just having those opportunities with a group of people to come together on the field and to try and reach a common goal together, and it was just super exciting.
Kim Underwood decided to go play at UNC after falling in love with the culture and competitive atmosphere. She led the team as captain in her 5th year to win the national championship. After graduating college, she went into sports ministry with her husband Bill and moved to Canada. After having kids and moving on from ministry, Underwood felt a calling to come back into field hockey.
I wanted to be doing something with field hockey, so I started officiating right away, and I started running clinics at a local sports complex, and was doing that every weekend and really just getting more and more excited about it. And then I was hired to teach and coach middle school at actually my former school that I went to, Wilson. Started the youth program during that time while I was the middle school coach, realized that kids were coming to 7th grade without a lot of experience. And I realized that a lot of the schools that we were having trouble competing with had youth programs. So I said, I guess if we're gonna wanna be at that level, we need to put the time in and have a youth program. So started at that year probably with about 35, maybe 40 kids at the most. 15 years ago at a local park, and we just saw the success and the excitement that the kids were having from that youth program. We really took our philosophy of developing women of character through the sport of field hockey to doing the same thing just with the younger kids, wanting to teach them life lessons, talk about being great kids, how to be good students at school, and how to be respectful and responsible. And so we've just kind of evolved that over the last 15 years. We now have up to 100 kids involved in our youth program, and it's been super exciting. Really old school rec, it's a lot of in-house. We practice for the first couple weeks. I've written the entire curriculum. I just hand it right to our coaches, which are basically just mom volunteers. We have a few dads too. A lot of them don't have field hockey experience, but they just love kids and have bought into what we're trying to do and how we're trying to encourage kids. And so they've bought in and they're willing to help and volunteer. So, and along with our high school kids who come almost every Tuesday and Thursday night if we don't have a game. And they show up and just spend time hanging out with the kids. I think some of the youth players enjoy hanging out with high school kids more than even the idea of coming to field hockey. And then as the program goes on Tuesday nights we practice, and then on Thursdays we have in-house games.
As the number of youth athletes grew for Underwood, those players then became her high school athletes that she coaches throughout the fall. Underwood became the high school coach at Wilson, and their team has found success thanks to their youth program, training the players well enough that in 2019, the team won the Pennsylvania State Championship. So it is evident that youth field hockey programs are important for growing the sport. So why don't more people set them up?
So time is a big part of it. Wanting to invest the time to communicate. Even, for example, we have a youth tournament tomorrow and it was rained out. So now I need to spend another week getting organized and who can come and who can't come, and communicating with families and just taking that time. So it definitely takes some organization. Field space is difficult. Getting fields cut, getting fields lined, making sure we have, people there, because there's so many other activities now for kids. And so we're quite flexible. If a kid wants to go to dance on Tuesday nights and come on Thursday nights, we're totally fine with that, because I'm a huge proponent of kids being involved in a multiple number of activities. And so we want to be flexible with them as well, because I do enjoy not just seeing them grow in the game of field hockey, but just growing in life skills and showing up and having energy. And I believe really strongly in kids being outside and being active and being social and things like that. I want them to be active. I want them to be growing and learning as young people so that they grow into mature, kind, hardworking adults. That's all really important to me as well.
The need for youth field hockey is still prevalent in many parts of the country, including in Lynchburg, Virginia.
My daughter Julia, she's 3 3/4, so 4 in February, I guess would be a shorter way to say that. And yeah, because obviously I coach the sport and have played the sport, there's hockey sticks lying around at home. But then on top of it, she comes here, comes to the games, comes to practice, comes to chapel and things like that. So she sees you guys, and there's absolutely a role model element there. She was telling anybody who would listen after Sunday's game that she's going to be a hockey girl when she grows up and stuff, So you see the interest that's there, because again, it's all about exposure, right? If you show them something at that age, then there's a chance they'll like it. My ambitions for her are mainly just that I really hope she gets to adulthood with a love of movement and exercise. If she happens to be good at a sport along the way and loves it and wants to try and pursue it to a high level, great, but I'm not going to be the one saying, you have to play field hockey, you have to do this. Field hockey is going to be a harder one because the infrastructure isn't there in Central Virginia and Lynchburg to get her playing right away, Now, at the same time, we always joke as a coaching staff that maybe we should be the ones to test the waters, we have this beautiful blue field. Could you start a kids program and appeal to all the different, all the daughters around the athletic department and see who would be interested, because especially when the team here is so successful and is obviously so visible, that would be a way to start anything off, right? So that's something we chat about. But even if you do, the difficulty becomes then, okay, well, what else is there to support that? And in Lynchburg, I think there's 2 schools, one public, one private, that plays field hockey. So if she doesn't end up going to one of those, then it is about, there's just less of those opportunities. Whereas if we were sitting in where you're from in the middle of Pennsylvania right now, there's just way more opportunities around. But what can we do? We can sit and complain about the lack of opportunities or potentially try and do something about it, But here, there's still a developmental aspect too, because somebody walks in as a freshman, they walk out as a senior, and you hope in those 4 years in between that you've helped them become a better player and person along the way.
The college field hockey experience is really playing professionally. I don't think that there's anywhere else in the world, unless you're on a national team, that you can get this type of experience.
So my name's David Passmore. I'm currently the women's national field hockey coach and delighted to be so. And this opportunity to come to America came up. And I suppose the real reason I wanted to do it is I never feel that I fulfilled my potential as a coach with a team at senior international level.
Field hockey creates such a tight-knit community of friends and people that I know have had a huge impact on me and have taught me life lessons that I will take with me forever.